I saw The Conjuring back on its opening day in 2013, and I remember walking away impressed by its craft and atmosphere, even though it didn't quite scare me as much as I expected from all the buzz. The film centers on real life paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are called to assist a family living in a secluded farmhouse that is being terrorized by malevolent dark presence. The story unfolds with a careful balance of supernatural mystery and family drama, which adds an emotional weight to the tension and the scares. One of the things that struck me right away was the film's deliberate pacing and focus on atmosphere over traditional jump scares. Unlike many horror films at the time that relied heavily on sudden loud noises and quick shocks, The Conjuring chose to build a slow burning sense of dread. This approach created a heavy, almost suffocating feeling of darkness that kept me engaged throughout the film. The filmmakers understood that sometimes what you don't see, along with the eerie silence and shadows, can be far more unsettling than a sudden jump scare. This style drew me in deeply into the movie's mood and worked well for the narrative. However, not everything was perfect. There were moments when the pacing felt a bit slow, with certain scenes dragging on longer than necessary. These stretched out parts could have been tightened through better editing, which might have maintained the tension more consistently in the film. Despite these flaws, the movie's core elements, the story, atmosphere, and performances held strong and kept me interested. Speaking of performances, Lily Taylor stood out in the film, especially with her turn towards the end. Her betrayal was chilling and brilliantly acted, adding a real layer of fear that stayed with me long after the credits rolled. Her character brought a more personal, terrifying dimension that elevated the overall experience. It's impressive that The Conjuring still manages to be scary even 13 years after its release. Its impact on the horror community is undeniable. It was a breath of fresh air in the genre because it didn't just settle for the usual tropes, but instead created genuine suspense through atmosphere and great storytelling. And the fact that this was a based on a true story also made it more terrifying. Also, for many viewers, this made the scares hit harder and feel more authentic. Comparing it to its sequel, The Conjuring 2, I find myself more frightened by the second film. I found that film more scarier than the first Conjuring movie. While the original laid the groundwork effectively, the fellow movie amped up the tension and fright factor in a way that really got under my skin more thoroughly. All in all, The Conjuring is a solid horror film that shifted how scares could be delivered in modern cinema. So my review for this movie is a 3.5 out of 5. It's definitely worth watching for fans of supernatural horror and those who appreciate a well crafted, mood driven story that still resonates years after its release. If you like this sort of content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more horror movie reviews in the future.